Here we are on to round 11 with a matchup between Phelia and Kefka. So Phelia on our left, played by Quentin Pourrier, and Kefka on our right, playing by Miguel's Zapata Moreno.
Yeah, this guy is definitely not clowning around because he made day 2.
Yep.
So we can expect some good magic on his side.
On their side, if I should say.
On both sides, absolutely, absolutely. Kefka, my personal favorite. I've played, not Kefka, sorry, Phelia. I said that it's early. Phelia is one of my favorite decks. I played her for quite some time. Currently pausing because of trying out other monocolored decks, but I think it's amongst the white decks still the GOAT.
Yeah, sure. We saw Cloud also with a pretty convincing show
Yeah, sure.
yesterday.
But it's not close to what Phelia. I mean, Cloud, for what it does, really, really powerful deck. No questions, no doubts about that. Also, we talked about Light Pulse and Oswald.
Yeah.
There are lots of really good options for the white pool.
That's sure. Actually, yeah, I think it's one of the better served color regarding monocolored command zones.
Yeah, probably. So it's very diverse. So that's definitely a thing. But I still think like Phelia is the most versatile, the most how do you say, the deck that is able to adapt the best towards the meta game.
I think maybe Cloud is at the moment missing some particular artifacts, equipments that could have been triggered by the command zone. Regarding the match that we have on our hands, we have Kefka on the play. First turn, Benevolent Bodyguard was caught by a mental misstep. First to Phelia was caught by a spell snare, and now actually I think it was Phelia on the blade that he missed a land drop.
Yep, that's rough.
Yeah,
really rough.
Glimmer Lens on turn 3, and here we see Dominic Tudor and a Nethergoyf.
Yeah. So to be fair, this early Nethergoyf I'm never a fan of, because it's most likely quite small, since it only counts your graveyard. But if you have nothing else to do, you just use the time to cast that. You have it on board. It doesn't matter against a white deck, since if you face exile, toughness doesn't matter at all. It would be relevant if you are facing a red deck, for example, where you could face like a Galvanic Discharge, and then you want to try to dodge that by having like higher toughness. But in that case, I think it's okay.
Yeah, I still think it is quite an early beater.
Don't do the color filter, I think.
Decent. Yeah, I'm just trying to...
currently experimenting a bit because the lighting is a bit off.
Yeah, it was better yesterday.
Yeah.
We didn't have much time to set
I
up
think
again.
this is too blue.
I tried to match the mats with the overlay.
Okay.
I think this looks okay, I guess.
I would set it back. But we have a Containment Priest here. That's actually not too impactful right now. Especially not hitting another land drop. The DT makes the Nethergoyf a 2/3 respectable blocking creature, which means for some reason the Rebel didn't come through, right? It did come through because it attacked. That's a bit interesting that he decided not to block there. Or it seems that he decided not to block there.
I think he was maybe still a 1/2 when that happened.
Is that the case? But the Demonic Tutor was cast before.
Okay, you might be right.
Guess. I'm not entirely sure. We'll get behind it. So here, interesting, there's a March.
Oh, this Snapcaster onto Spell Snare might actually be bidding to answer this March right now.
Yeah,
I think
that's
this is
crazy.
what we're going to see. Yeah.
Because you can go for the Spell Snare. That's a really good tempo play. Otherwise, I would have said... and there's a short clarification on how much mana is paid for the March. You can pay only 1 white, and then you can exile the Urza's Saga, for example.
Yeah, which is really good.
That's really good. Apart from that, most people don't like the card that much, because I think in Phelia it's okay. I've played it for a while too, because if you go for your loop and you have like repetitive ETBs and stuff, you can get back some value, so you can afford to pitch some white spells in order to get rid of some targets. But especially like for the higher CMC targets is extremely costly. So definitely debatable. Okay, here we have the Snapcaster Mage Resolved Spell Snare countered the
This is
March.
a full art Path to Exile. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Containment Priest still alive, the equipment still alive, but still trade that favors Kefka in this situation, I would say. The more the game goes long, the longer the game, the better Kefka seems to be.
And let's be honest, Path to Exile is a removal spell that's talked a lot about.
Yep.
And some players like it and they include it in their lists. And I've recently also featured it in my white decks to give it another test. You know, this is one of those situations where you absolutely don't want to have a Path to Exile because it's super beneficial for Kefka to have this additional land now.
Yeah, you're already behind on tempo.
Yes. And there is another land drop, you know. I mean, you can decide whether or not to cast Kefka or just play another land and look what you can find in the ponder. You can keep up the subtlety. There are different options. That's not the situation. And also, another go is not necessarily the target that you want to waste the Path to Exile for.
Yeah, sure.
I can understand that, but
not at this point in the game. When it's
Exactly.
5/6 that can come back
Exactly.
one or twice,
Exactly,
it
yeah.
might be relevant. Not quite much here.
But here we see the clown.
The clown.
The clown is discarding
It
what?
is there.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. It seems that he chooses to discard the land, which makes sense in a way that he knows that there is no land drop for the Phelia player, so
he will
this way he
draw two
secures
cards.
a draw 2, yeah. And he's very likely to hit another land here, and if he doesn't make the land drop, it's not too bad because he just gained a land from the Path to Exile, right? So, yeah, and here we have that's a swamp, I think, from the Pixel, Secret Layer, whatsoever.
Oh
The
yeah,
fancy
yeah.
looking
I think
ones.
you're right. Yeah. Still a ponder, I think, in hand,
Yeah, and a subtlety
and a
and
counter
a counterspell.
So, how do you think this game will?
That's quite a good one.
This is removal, right?
Yes. Is this a touch to Spirit Realm? Yes.
You are right, mate. Well done. I didn't got this alternate art
Special
of this card.
artwork, yeah.
I think this card is really good, actually. I love what they did with this Touch the Spirit Realm thingy. The channel that allows you to blink something is awesome, I think.
It's a cool interaction. You might think about why he does that. We have the Containment Priest on field, so Kefka does not come back.
Yep.
In this case, really nice one.
Works really, really well, I think, as a sort of modal spell, this
Definitely,
card, and
yeah.
both halves are pretty good.
Yeah. It's interesting that he decides to get rid of the land. I can understand that. Kind of compensating for the Path of Exile, or Path to Exile.
I think maybe the line of thought here too is that if you let your opponent having 6 land in play, if he only plays one more, he can play Kefka again, which seems to be too big for Phelia to attack through. So maybe this is the way of saying I'm playing better with low resources, and I just want you not to cast this Kefka again. Would make sense to me, but still only 2 cards left in Quentin's hand, so
Yeah, I'm just trying to. I think they're figuring out with the judges as to why Kefka went to the command zone immediately, because that seemed to be the decision from the Kefka player, because he knows there's this interaction with the Containment Priest. And he can choose to let it go to the command zone directly because it's a zone change, and you can always choose that. So
okay.
it seems we have a judge call for clarification.
So, how was your night?
Short. Hello, guys. Hope you have a well-deserved, restful night. Well, yeah.
Well, it was well deserved.
Yes, it was not so restful.
Yeah.
Too short, actually, but it's okay.
And we were synchronized on this because we actually didn't sleep at the same place.
Yeah.
But we still
Yeah.
had both a really short lived life, night of sleep.
Yeah.
I think the situation is getting handled right now, so I think we will come back to the game.
Yeah.
I've seen a head judge coming to the table. We see some shadows of their arms.
Yeah, they're still discussing a little bit.
And here we go. So,
There's the land drop.
yep, I think Ponder might be fine, but okay, Miguel actually chose to keep Subtlety plus Counterspell up. I think this makes sense. If Quentin tries to do something, he can subtlety into counterspell. Like, whatever double spell Quentin want to play, I think Miguel can answer them and still having the best board at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
I think it makes sense not to want to ponder already. Might not be that useful in this situation.
Oh, that's a big sign. Like if your best play is equipping the Glimmer Lens to the Containment Priest without having a second creature on board, so you don't even get a trigger, that's something, right? Soren's Ransom, even worse, more card advantage for the Grixis player.
Yeah, you don't even need to play that subtlety in the end.
No, not at all. You can just chill and wait, you know.
Yeah, so at 16,
you're not really in a hurry at all.
Absolutely.
If you feel like you're at a stage at which you have to get control over the board, you still have the subtlety pitch in the back of your hand, because
If really needs be, yeah, you have counterspell and subtlety pitch, so yeah.
we've seen already a couple of, we had Touch the Spirit Realm, we've seen Path to Exile, March, so the deck plays a good chunk of interactive spells, non-creature spells.
Sure, but you still need like pressure in some form or another.
Yeah, that's what I was going for, that in order to win the game or take the lead, you have to develop your board, which you do with creatures. And here we go with the subtlety, right?
Yep.
Waiting in the back of my hand.
All these removals are fine and dandy when you're playing with the board and try to attack, because you can then remove your best opponent's creatures or your opponent's best creatures rather. And this allows you to get through the last points of damage. But in this situation, these removals are just, I think, subpar because your clock is 2 a turn.
Yeah.
It's not that much.
Well, I would say, from my experience, that Phelia is favored in this matchup. But if you're missing a couple of land drops in a row, while the deck plays 40 lands,
I think, yes, matchup should look quite okay from both sides.
yeah, sure, but I think it's more towards Phelia, to be fair. I mean, the interactive suit for Grixis is really good against Phelia, no doubts about that. But I think
Wow, this 7th edition foil memory lapse is making me happy.
The Ponder is also really cool.
Yeah, but it's not a 7th edition.
This one in Japanese costs like, I don't know, 400, 500 bucks or something.
No,
Yeah, I don't
really?
know. Yeah, because it's a time spiral print and there are like 20 copies of that.
Okay.
It's super hard to get. But on the other hand, then Wizards can come around and just reprint the old border things in some random Modern Horizons set, you know, and you're sitting there with your, okay, I wasted 400 bucks on that shit. So, resolving the Ponder.
And now we are, what is this?
That could
Fatal
be
push?
a Fatal Push, yeah. Or a Lightning Bolt, Terminate, it's one of these.
It costs only 1 minute, so
What did he pay for? He paid black, so it should be a Fatal Push, I guess.
Yes.
It's from the Final Fantasy thing, I guess.
Yep.
Or a Secret Layer.
Spell table doesn't recognize this card, so
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes. But yeah,
Here
remove.
we see a Hull Breacher. That's an interesting one.
Ah.
That's a card you don't see too often.
Phelia end of turn. You can
Yesterday-
absolutely get rid of that.
With the Kefka list, with the Tifa list. No, sorry. So too many. Kefka, Tifa, Terra. I was talking about Terra. We saw in Johann's list, we saw an opposition agent. And we talked a lot about sideboard cards for this event. Hull Breacher is one of those cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you face some hard control matchups or...
Storm even, like Peer into the Abyss.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean,
I have no 1,000 mana.
Right. Peer is a good example. There's also the Grixis Storm variant that might feature more cantrips and, you know, like mental nodes and fault scores and stuff like this. Here we have a Recruiter of the Guard countered by Memory Lapse, and that's awkward. That's we also talked about when we had the game with Alexei, how powerful the Memory Lapse actually is.
Yeah, in certain
it's
situations,
so powerful.
it is.
Yeah, because
worse
it denies
than-
your entire next turn.
Exactly.
He's already down on lands anyways. Drawing this Recruiter next turn is not going to make it. I mean, Phelia now costs 6 at least.
The secret mode of this troll, 6 mana.
Okay.
Huge beater.
Okay.
3-turn clock. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Do something.
Tells a lot about the situation. Right?
For sure. That's
Here
what I
we-
like in this Kefka deck. I mean, it's like a sort of mid-range-ish, control-ish Grixis shell, but with the ability to close game quite quickly when the corner is turned.
Yeah. So here we have a clarification whether or not the overload is a creature on stacked in order to subtlety it. Of course it is. It's just losing the creature type for as long as it's
As a static
intended
ability,
as a
yeah.
static ability on field, but on stack it's still a creature, so you can easily get rid of that with the help of subtlety.
Sorry.
And yeah, they're just clarifying that as this ability is not relevant on stack.
Yep.
Putting it back on top, I have
Okay.
to say, Quentin has quite some good top decks here to bring back the pressure. Then again, the response from Miguel is even better. To be fair,
I would say that even a card like Parallax Wave might come useful to gain a bit of time.
yes, but you have to resolve it.
Yeah, yes, sure. And
Right.
you also need pressure
Yes.
in
That's
any
true.
way, which is not the case at all.
I mean, what you can do is you can, if you see, oh, there's a brainstorm
Brainstorm.
response. Okay. So no direct answer, but I think we still have the counterspell if I'm not mistaken. Or no, it was cast earlier. Never
Okay,
mind.
lose focus. I think wash away
Yeah,
also.
loose focus does the drop here, I guess.
I think the other one is a wash away. Am
It
I
will
wrong?
be a double
Replicated lose focus. So
Yeah.
really a lot of respect from Miguel, which makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much he could respond with, to be fair. On stack, mana type, reprieve. There's no mana for that. And now we have a Baleful Strix. It's the extended art from
Oh.
Special Guest, I guess.
I think you are right. And yeah, we see Quentin packing up his cards.
Yeah, and he really tried. He really tried, but I was just about to say it's extremely hard to go through all these early interactive things. We had the Mental Misstep for the 1-drop. We had the Spell Snare for the 2-drop. You're on the draw. It's extremely hard to get
Yep.
through. So if you can't bring down your basic pieces,
That means he kept a two-lander on the draw with 41 lands in the deck. So I think it's perfectly
it's
reasonable.
okay. You can do that. Yeah,
think that is-
definitely. You
Stat-wise,
have
I
a
think
solid
it's reasonable.
hand. I mean, he probably had the Containment Priest in hand, which is a very good synergy. The Grixis deck does not provide too many creatures, so you can just flicker that, get rid of the creatures that way. By if you can protect Phelia. And I mean, the line was great, right? If the bodyguard sticks, and you somewhat get Phelia on board, then it's protected from one interaction spell, and you keep your dog, and you start with the shenanigans. So I can totally see.
What I'm really surprised about is seeing only 39 lands into Kefka's deck list. I think this
Yeah.
is really statistically wise, not that much.
That's true. Yeah,
I would say not even sufficient regarding the mana curve of the deck. Sure, you have some cantrips, some cyclers, and an Archon Signet, but regarding the mana curve of the deck, I think this is quite optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, you could say the troll acts as another one.
Kinda, sort of. It is a tap land, but you already need a land for
Exactly,
it to be
exactly.
useful.
So the
So
deck,
those the Archon Signet to some extent.
right. That's true. I think players experiment a little bit with that. You don't want to be too flooded with Kefka. What I found interesting in the beginning is that people tried to feature as many double type cards as possible, so they were also playing the artifact lands.
Yep.
Then they quickly figured, okay, that's too costly in terms of I have all kinds of pips, mostly blue, and I need to get my stuff
And I
together.
have a great furnace in my hand.
Yes, I cannot afford to play a triplet of basic lands
Yeah.
and adjust the tainted back mana base towards having another triplet of monocolor producing lands while I only looking into the Dimir direction mostly. And to be honest, I just want to have the Seed of the Synod, and the other two are probably irrelevant.
Makes perfect sense, and I think this is where our players are at
I
today.
think, it seems that he's not running any of them.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah,
Which would make
only-
sense, because if you don't want to have troubles again, well, Harbinger of the Seas doesn't matter with Seed of the Synod, but
Yeah.
Magus of the Moon, or just being sure that your mana base will allow you to cast all of your spells.
Oh,
I think
actually, Vault of Whispers is in. I just see it
Uh,
on the very bottom. It's a vault.
oh, you are
Right?
absolutely
Ah, yeah,
right.
okay. So we have one of them. Interesting that he
Choose the black
plays
one.
2 islands, like a snow-covered and a normal island, and then he chose to take the vault over the seed. Could have also gone for the seed and only, 2 basic lands, but maybe he wanted to make sure that Prismatic Vista hits something all the time. There's also a swamp. I don't know. We see no mountain. I'm not 100% fine with that decision because I personally had some situations where you had like the Prismatic Vista needed to find a mountain.
Yes, absolutely.
In not only in Kefka but in any deck, you know. So my personal takeaway was always to go for the whole cycle. But well, that's
I would
based
tend
on
to agree, but I think crafting a mana base in Duel Commander may sometimes lead to some really peculiar choices regarding that kind of stuff. I might get behind that decision not to play any mountains regarding
me too.
the fact that besides Bolt, I don't think there are any early turn play that really need a red mana, and I don't think you want a land that produces solely red mana. Besides, like Arena of Glory, because this land is awesome, but not because it's producing red mana. So I could somewhat get behind that decision.
Yeah, definitely.
We see
So we have a Skrelv on turn 1.
that resolved,
That's
and
good.
that might be actually really good turn
And
one.
here we have a Phelia on turn 2, countered by the Spell Snare again. I think I would have... Yeah, you can debate about whether or not to... That depends on the deck. If you play mono blue, you should definitely play Phelia in the upkeep. If you play against anything that could come up with a Flame Slash, which should not be the problem here. So you could actually think about doing that here too, because with the help of Skrelv, Phelia would be protected.
And
Also Pride.
yeah, Swordpad will need an answer. Okay, we see a lightning bolt in Miguel's hands, so that's good for him.
Yeah.
So other than that, yeah, these could have been troubles for the upcoming turns. We know how this card can run away with the game by itself.
So thanks, Max. Yeah, the casting is entirely in English this year.
Thank you very much.
Very happy to hear that.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, Psychic Frog.
Psychic Frog. Yeah,
This will be.
it's a good card.
Yeah.
But, Phelia has a bunch of answers for
Yeah,
for things like
exactly. This is one of
this.
the
And we see one of them.
yeah, one of the best decks I think to answer that kind of creatures because white exile-based removal spells are good to get rid of this frog. If you try to bolt it or dismember it, it might often end up poorly for you.
Yeah. And here we have the beautiful Judge Foil Bolt.
Miguel has really beautiful deck.
Yes, absolutely.
I
like
saw
it.
a foil flood strength from Onslaught in the last game, so yeah,
And we have everything. Search Foil, Ripple Foil, OG, Old Bordered, whatsoever.
he really took the time to craft his deck. Maybe this is why there aren't any Seat of the Synod in the meta base.
Because it's missing the actual pimp. Yeah, that could be the case. So really, really rough start here for Phelia again, I would say.
Ailana Dunner, hello, and are you the Ailana Dunner? Like the artist one who draws cards for our
That would be
favorite
awesome.
game? That would be absolutely awesome.
That would be very awesome.
But anyway, thank you
to
for
the
your
stream.
comment too.
Yes.
That's the whole point of trying to cast this tournament in English.
Exactly. So cracking the command beacon to bring back Phelia once your opponent is tapped out, and we see a Prismatic Vista.
This is you, so
Really?
that's awesome.
awesome.
That's absolutely awesome. And yeah, I heard that you were maybe supposed to come this year but couldn't make it. I hope maybe you'll be there next year.
That would be great.
I
Then
would
I have
love
to get back.
Yeah, I would love to have an interview with you. I had the opportunity to interview the 5 artists that were there already, and yep, your work is beautiful.
That's true.
Yeah.
I have so many basic lands from her.
Temple Garden.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, it's
This one, in my opinion,
know.
is wow.
really nice. That's true. And here we have the fancy swamp again, the funky looking one. It seems so. There is. It's not a troll. That is a Kolaghan's Command.
Against Command, yeah.
A card that was included at first, not anymore. Then it comes back. I'm a bit hesitant.
I think
To
it's
be
on the
fair.
verge of being power crept out of the format.
Definitely, I think it already is, and I'm surprised that some people play it. I think it was already on the edge like 3 years ago.
I think, like Prismary Command, it depends how much you need the Destroy Artifact mode. In some scenarios, you really want this card because it might be really good. And I think with an environment you might face a lot of Storm decks, destroying artifacts like Wish Claw, Talisman, that kind of stuff might be relevant.
Fair.
But you know,
The amount
Then-
of 2 endurance creatures also that are
Yeah,
relevant in
yeah.
the metagame might inform your choice of playing or not this card.
I mean, I get the truth for one aspect of the card, no doubts about that.
If you manage to get it, that's the point.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you have no artifact, neither 2 toughness creature.
Yeah, I think the floor of the card is, okay, I deal 2 damage to something. Maybe you can get rid of a target and you discard some rubbish.
Yeah, I
and, you know,
think-
it's like, it doesn't always feel the best.
Shock
But
you
it-
discard is not the best.
No,
for the-
not for 3 mana.
It's
right?
a half of like lightning.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the card
exactly,
is.
yeah. Lightning is 3 damage and 2 discard.
Yes, that's-
discarding 2 cards. Yeah. But I still think, in comparison to Prismari Command, I think I prefer Color Guns Command because it's more
Oh.
impactful. Because like Prismari Command is more like you have the loot, you have the treasure tokens. Of course, you also deal damage. What was the 4th mode?
I mean, I can get behind your choice because indeed the Exhume mode of Call Against Command gets better and better with the new creatures that are coming into this metagame. I mean, now exhuming a Barrogoyf or an Aethergoyf or a Pyrogoyf, for instance, this is something that is absolutely powerful. Even a
That's
Fury,
true.
for instance, you know.
That's true.
That wasn't especially the case. Fury is
Back then, yeah, I get that point. So the bigger, the better the quality of the creatures becomes, the more, or the
the better. Call Against
better it
Command.
is to get them back. Yeah, that's true. So we have a Kefka cast.
Well, this Solitude is costly, man.
Yeah, pitching the Parallax Wave. It makes sense. You would think, because the discard trigger is still on stack.
Yeah,
you
sure.
don't want to discard the enchantment for 2 reasons. You don't want to grow the Groves, and you don't want them to draw 2 cards because it's very likely a type that they won't discard.
March at the last card for Quentin's hand, so he still will draw 2 cards with the Kefka trigger. Like Miguel will still draw 2 cards with the Kefka trigger, and now we see Quentin Hellbent with 3 lands into play.
That's rough.
Yep. I think he mulligan
That's
too this
rough.
game, so Scotland might be the
Yeah.
beginning of something
Yeah.
if Against Command doesn't come down to destroy it at some point.
I would really like to see Quentin coming back from that, because I think Phelia has way better chances than what we saw here. I think the Kefka player had very good answers, keeping hands full of interaction, and also having some adequate top decks. Seems this is not a land.
No, and seems like, I mean, Kefka, once you are contrived out of the game, this game will grind you out.
Yeah. We might have a flashy spell here, like something like Containment Priest, the Cathar Commando, stuff like this.
I think
To have like a small trick against the Kefka
Uh-huh.
resolution, you know.
I would say that the saving grace for Quentin is that Kefka is not putting any sort of pressure right now on the
Yeah.
battlefield, but we see that Miguel has the 7 and even 8th source of mana into his hand, so casting this Kefka again won't be a problem. Best case for Quentin here is maybe it is a removal he has in hand to get rid of this second cast of Kefka, but Miguel playing really patiently, really deliberately, doesn't want to give his opponent any way of coming back into this game. This upgrade.
Braid.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's going to be rough.
It already is, I think.
It's not getting better. And at some point, you might even find enough sorcery speed power to crew that vehicle at least once, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
Drawing more cards, why not, right?
At some point,
Kefka comes with
maybe.
full power, you just need 1 creature more. Although I think that's rather unlikely. But
Oh,
it's
Surveil,
possible.
keep on top.
Yeah,
You
dangerous,
don't want to see
dangerous.
that.
7, like the control deck or the mid-range deck untaps with 7 plus 1 land.
I think it was a counterspell that was kept on top by Miguel.
Yeah.
Really want to get his stranglehold onto this game and not let his opponent any way out of this
Yeah,
situation.
and I mean, in Kefka's seat, you just play it very safely now. There's no need to cast the clown.
I would
You have
say that you have to do something at some point because Phelia is the type of deck that play like Armageddon, right? Now you have your counterspell, so you might
I
be able
get that, but you have some backup, right?
Yeah.
And there is it a troll or is it a Orcish Bowmaster, the second card? Because I thought he does not play the silver foil troll. So this might be the Orcish
Cataclysm.
Bowmaster.
We were talking about that.
Cataclysm is being removed, but you know, also on the other side, there is Armageddon, but it doesn't make sense to cast an Armageddon if you have nothing on field, right?
No, but if either player has nothing and
That's
your
true.
opponent, you like get rid of 8 of their
And
lands.
that's the concession.
Yeah.
We see the Palace Jailer from top, and it's very likely that Phelia will not take this home.
It is tough. It was tough to watch.
It was tough to watch, yeah, let's be honest.
But in the other hand, I did choose this matchup to show off a bit Kefka because
Yes,
we didn't see this weekend. So I think, yeah, the deck put up a good show for the camera.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which is good.
Well played from the Grixis player.
Absolute cinema.
A cool matchup for the first one
Yep.
this day.
We'll
Okay.
take a short break here.
Yes.
We'll cut the beauty here. So see you for 12th round in about 3 seconds.
Yeah.
See you.